Are you ready to redefine what it means to thrive at any age? Welcome to Age is Just a Number with BJ and Ruth. In your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, you deserve to live your best life. Say goodbye to preconceived notions and let's shatter those stereotypes together. Get ready to own your vitality because age, well, that's just a number.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today on Age is Just a Number. I'm back with Matt, and we've been talking about the importance of coaching. So thank you again, Matt, for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And for those that don't know, Matt is my coach, so he helps me with my nutrition and just with how I look in terms of getting ready for a competition. My next competition is the UFE World Championship in November of 2024. So we're still in the bulk phase, which is a lean bulk. I mean, anybody can gain weight, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you just in a slow progress, right?
Yeah.
Just eat and that's it. So, yeah.
But we want to do this in a controlled way so that I'm not in horrendous shape when it comes time to start dieting. So, Matt helps me with all of that. So today we're going to talk about the whole area of having a coach and what does the coach do? How does he help you? What does he do for you? So let's start with this. Maybe we'll start with how Matt and I work together here. So as far as our relationship and how we operate, so Matt does my diet and we review. So I send him pictures usually every week, and I weigh in every week. So we've identified kind of where we want to go, and so let's start with that. So when you do the diet, is that you say, okay, well, here's where you are for a weight, and here's where I think you want to be. So you figure out the diet that way?
That's right. I just I take a look at where we are and I project where we need to be at a certain point, right? And then that's how I adjust our calories as we go. So if you're 5 pounds short of our goal, I'll just up it a couple, usually about 150, 200 calories, and we get you up to your goal slowly. And, that's how I gauge things over time, right? So
yeah. So let's use, just pick a week as an example. So if you see pictures and you see the weigh-in and you say, gee, that's probably a little bit more than we wanted to get this week,
right? You
would just cut it back then, or what do we do at that point?
Yeah, I would just cut calories slightly and then, see how you are the next week and then, adjust from there and see where we need to go from there. So it's week by week basis. So
yeah. So here's the thing about having a coach is you have somebody that's working with you just that, right? Week to week.
Yes.
And that's giving you feedback. So let's talk about the importance of having a coach. Can you go to the gym and work out without a coach? Absolutely. But I think, we get so much DIY help nowadays.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Well, I can just find it on YouTube and I can find it here, find it there. And there's a lot of good information on YouTube, but there's also not, right?
There's a lot of false information
right?
out there, so anybody can say anything really. So
and I've seen some stuff where somebody talks about their program, and then you actually look at it and you're like, oh, that's not good.
No, not at all. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and some people just they just start spouting off about things, and if they get followers, they get trending, and then, that's it. It just turns into a lot of misinformation in a hurry that everybody sees. So
yeah,
that's a problem.
Right. And so, and that's where coach helps, because you also have a relationship with that coach. So whether it's face-to-face or it's done through Zoom or whatever it is, there's some kind of relationship there that I think helps. And you mentioned this in the other episode, accountability, right?
Accountability's the biggest part for sure. A lot of people, they'll stay on a plan for a couple of days, but if you don't check in with them, people are inherently lazy at times, right? So it's just natural, and you'll fall off after day 3 or day 4. But if I'm around and I'm on you every 2 days, it usually gives you a kick in the butt to keep going, right? So it's
sure.
Accountability is easily one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. So accountability is a huge one for having a coach. How about training programs? Somebody comes to you, they says, I need a program, but they don't and we're just talking about coaches in general. You can apply these principles, but and they have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
And they come to you. Somebody comes to you. They say, "I've never been to the gym before, but I'd like to start working out and get fit, healthy. I just feel like I'm not in a good place, and I think that's going to help me."
Right.
So they've never been to the gym. Does a coach then, in that situation, or does a coach take them through the gym? Let's take you through the workouts. Let's take you through everything, or what does that look like?
So in training or in-person coaches can do personal training that way, right? So they'll take them around the gym and, show them all the equipment and make sure that they can lift the weights before they leave them on their own, right? So hopefully a few sessions. If it's myself, I'm an online fitness coach, nutrition coach. I will do up a exercise plan for them online through my app, and I have videos that go through every single exercise that you can think of, and I will give that to said client, and they can start there. They just need to take a little more time and focus on these videos so they know how to do the movement properly. So,
yeah. So I guess that's the one good thing is in that case, you don't have to be right where the individual is. You can be in we're in Victoria.
That's right.
But you could be working with somebody in Edmonton or Calgary or
all over the world.
Wherever.
Yeah. It's wonderful because now I don't have to go to the gym just to show them, how to do a movement up in person, right? So it's I could just find the movement online in my app, and I can just send it to them, study that, and make sure we do the correct form, and you're good to go. So.
Right. And in that case, they can still, if they're not sure, they're going to come back to you and say, "Well, I'm not sure about how to do this," or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
right?
I'll just give them some of my own experience on, how to perform the exercise too. Nothing's perfect with these videos either, right? So if they start, enduring some injuries throughout their workouts, it's probably because, they're not going to tell you to retract your shoulder blades and stuff like that. Usually it's just watch the video and just perform that exercise, right? But, you got to be safe with these movements too, so.
Yeah. So, and that's a good one to, I think, talk about is just safety when it comes to the exercises and the weights that we use. Maybe you can address that a little bit because I know you've had some injuries. Wow. I've had some injuries. Anybody who spent, and it doesn't have to be the case, but usually because we weren't very smart when we were doing these things, we who were, whatever you want to call us, gym rats, whatever it is, we got injured because we weren't very smart.
The internet wasn't as prevalent way back, right? So now you have...
It would have been even worse, I think, if I'd had the internet back then.
Right? You're just doing all these wonky movements.
Crazy exercises,
so
right?
Back when I first started, it was just, I'd be doing these squats and, maybe I would have way too much weight and I wasn't bracing my core when I would go down. So I'd mess up my back, and that's where it all started, right?
Right.
And, you mess up one part, you're going to mess up a bunch of other parts because now you're overcompensating in different areas, different muscle groups, right? So it's... to have like an exercise plan set up for you is the best case scenario with all the videos set up, right?
Yeah. And so talk about, you mentioned about going too heavy.
Right.
So what's an appropriate weight and I know it changes from exercise to exercise, but is there a general formula for what's an appropriate weight?
You just got to feel it out, right? So you grab whatever you're going to do. Let's just say squats, you grab the barbell and, you just take the bar and just start there if you're just starting out, and then you add, slowly add maybe, 3 to 5% until you get to a point where you can't do any more than 5 to 6 reps, I'd say.
Okay.
So you don't want to just throw on this weight and do 1 rep. Okay, we're good to go. That would just be kind of ego lifting, right? So I'd say 5 to 6 reps, or the 6 to 8 rep range. That works well too. So it's just feeling it out at 3 to 5% increments type deal. So so 5 to 10 pounds, feel it out, work your way up and see where you end up. So
right.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that goes with that probably that we can talk about the importance of is just the whole idea of warming up, where like you were talking to me the other day about the extra work for the back,
the scapula,
and all that.
Yeah. So you want to 5 to 10 minute warm up, prior to lifting, and then I'd say 5 to 10 minute cool down session for stretching, right? So it's just moving the arms around, really, or moving the legs around, whatever body part you're going to work out on. It's super important to engage your rear delts and your scapula before you're going to do any push exercises and stuff like that. I wish I had known this 15, 20 years ago, right? So it's super. That's half your workout, stretching, right? Because you're just stretching the tissue out and gaining more volume over time. So.
Yeah. And you'll actually be stronger if you stretch over time,
That's right? Yeah, they used to tell us way back, don't stretch before you lift.
Right, yeah.
You're going to be weaker. I was just like, no, all this new information coming out just kind of kiboshes all of that. Right?
Sure,
So it's just, So.
Okay. So in keeping with that, and you mentioned the ego lift. What's for everybody watching, what does that look like? What is an ego lift?
It's where you want to throw as much weight on as you can and just kind of, see what you can do, but kind of show off at the same time. I'd say like it's, ego lifting is kind of important for testing your strength boundaries, right? So it's, but it's.
I think I should add to that. If you're going to build up your strength and you're doing it over time,
right.
Doing the heavy lift is not necessarily an ego lift. It's for you to gauge your progress. I think, like you're saying, part of the whole idea of the ego lift is it's a mindset, right?
That's right. And for example, let's just say you throw 350 pounds on the squat bar and you get half a squat. An ego lift would be somebody that throws 400 on thinking they can get that rep too, right? So it's when you didn't even get the first rep. So you got to be careful, right? That'll prevent injuries by lifting. You got to lift safe and just smart, right? So.
Yeah. So under control.
Yes, under control.
And then again, like you said, a weight that's a reasonable weight.
Yeah, that's knowing your limits, right? So just before injury, or you're going to get injuries. So that's just part of it, right? So you want to lift really, really heavy. Well, that's going to be the consequence if you're ego lifting, right? So
sure.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that I want to add as well, when it comes to having a live coach versus the DIY version, which is whether you saw it on YouTube or anything like that. I watched a guy who doesn't work out, you can tell. Which is neither here nor there, but I watched him evaluating basically HIIT training. It was Dorian Yates' program.
Right.
And I did HIIT training, so I know it works.
Right.
But he's talking about how this will make your training so much easier because you're only going to need to be in the gym for this short period of time and you only have to go twice a week and everything. And I watched it and I thought, the thing is, what he's not telling you is to effectively train with high intensity interval training, you have to be absolutely to the wall.
That's right.
For that work set.
Yeah.
It is like mindset. It's your joints. It's everything. I stopped just because it was so hard on my joints because I was like, for the average lifter to say, yeah, I'm going to go train high intensity and actually get what I need out of it.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And that's where I think we need to be careful. And where having somebody who knows something to help us is important, because the way this guy was making it sound, oh yeah, just go to the gym and just do one set.
It wouldn't be for any beginners, right? You want to start off just learning the weights and taking your time, then building up that endurance. You have to have a really high endurance to be able to do something like that and give it your all. And I couldn't do something like that right now. So
yeah. And I even remember, so I was a big fan, and I like the whole program and training. It's just too hard on my joints now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I read a lot of stuff that Mike Mentzer did, and he was a big proponent of that as well. And so I remember when I'd start the work set and I'd be like, oh no, this is not heavy enough. So I'm going to take 10 reps before I get to failure. I'm going to need to get to 15 before I get to absolute failure.
That's how I used to do it. So it's just, if you don't have the right weight, just do some extra reps.
Right.
Get that volume in.
But just the fact that like most people won't go there, and you have to be just wired for that set.
Yes.
Right. And I think as an example of where for the average lifter to just walk in and start, I'm going to do high intensity training, I only have to train once every 4 days.
No, you got to go past where you want to quit, and then you got to go past, you got to do a few extra reps past that, because the average person is going to quit at a certain benchmark. If you want to further yourself, you got to keep pushing. So.
Yeah. So, and I said that to say that's why it's important to have somebody to give you some quality feedback, whether it's a coach or whether it's us in our channel. Don't just DIY your workouts. Because we live in an era, I think right now, where everybody's like, well, I can just Google it, or I remember my daughter asked me a question one time and didn't know the answer. And she was like, well, come on, Dad, just Google it. and I know we think that that's the answer, but I don't think I can overstate the importance of having somebody with skin on their face to talk to you, not AI skin, but actual real live person that can give you some.
You need that feedback. Right?
Yeah, and sometimes it might not be. I mean, I guess that's part of it too, right? We're talking about it being still positive, but sometimes there's going to be feedback that's maybe not so fun.
Yeah, you need somebody to tell you the stuff you don't want to hear all the time,
Right.
So you can actually progress. So that's what this is all about. I wouldn't be doing my job if I was just saying everything was okay and you look great and stuff. That doesn't help you. So you need that critical judgment and another set of eyes just to look you over and give you the truth all the time. So
yeah, and I can say for me, because when I look at myself, I know that I'm not seeing, real clearly. Okay, I could identify. Yeah, I need to work on this. So I worked. For example, I spent more time in the last year specifically on rear delts and side delts.
Right.
But when the last time we were at the gym where Matt was there and he was actually looking over everything, he said, okay, well, we need to address these things also. They happen to be my back, so I wouldn't have seen it anyway.
Right, that's too hard to see, right? So
Right.
you need those set of eyes.
Yeah, so that's the value of having somebody engaged who's going to be able to help you with the process. And so, we could still be here and talking about all of the different parts of actually going to the gym and what exercises do those things. And we may do those in later episodes, but I think we're just about out of time right now. So again, if you haven't, please take a minute, subscribe to the channel. It helps us with just growing the channel. We want to grow this community, but you also make sure that you don't miss anything because we're putting out more and more regular content every week. So we want to make sure that you're up to date on everything that comes out. And also, if you have specific questions, please put them in the comments. If you have questions for Matt, you can put them in the comments. We'll put Matt's contact information in the description as well if you want to reach out to him directly. But just so everybody knows, how do people get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me at my email at coachveteranmathias at
You might need to
gmail.com.
spell that, coach.
So coach, so COACH.
Yeah.
Veteran, VETERAN.
Yeah.
And then Matthias, MATHIAS
At gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have any questions, you want to talk to Matt maybe about him doing a nutrition program for you, or you want to get some help with your training program, that's how to do that. Again, we'll put all that information in the description as well. And otherwise, thank you for joining us. And hey, take some time, get out, get active this week, get to the gym, put in the time, put in the effort. And remember, age is just a number. See ya.